Hello everyone, today I will be presenting on Turning Hog and American Horse on the Wooden Knee Massacre. These two Sioux leaders gave eyewitness testimonies about the massacre, which reveals the violence, betrayal, and grief their communities faced. The second slide is about the key concept. The Wooden Knee Massacre took place on December 29, 1890, when the U.S. Army killed over 250 Lakota 6 men, women, and children. The event was triggered by U.S. fears of the Ghost Dance movement, which they saw as a threat. What makes the source powerful is that we hear directly from Turning Hog and American Horse. Sioux leaders who testified about the brutality. They described not just the killings of the men, but also the murders of women and her children, many of whom were under a flag or of truce. The third slide is the key themes from the testimony. There are three key themes in their testimony. First, the massacre of men. The soldiers demanded weapons. They opened fire, killing men who had already been separated from their families. Second, violence against women and children. Women, infants, and even pregnant women were shot while fleeing. The testimonies emphasize how these slaughters violate the promise of safety under a truce. Third, betrayal of loyalty. Leaders like American Horse had remained loyal to the U.S. government, but after this massacre, they expressed deep sorrow and disappointed at the betrayal. The fourth slide is the historical context. To understand this event, we need to look at U.S. Indian policy. Native people were being forced onto reservations, where their land and freedom were severely restricted. The Ghost Dance movement spread among Native communities as a spiritual hope for renewal, but U.S. officials saw it as dangerous. On December 29th, 1890, the army surrounded the Sioux at Wooden Knee Creek and opened fire. Over 250 Lakota Sioux were killed. 6 weeks later, leaders traveled to Washington, D.C. to testify about what had happened. That's the testimony we have studied today. The fifth slide is the argument exposing the massacre. The testimony served as a direct argument exposing the massacre. They emphasize unjustified violence, showing how soldiers opened fire without provocation. They highlight the targeting of women and children, describing the most vulnerable victims being killed. They stress the betrayal of loyalty, with leaders saying that they had trust the government but felt deeply let down. And finally, they make a moral appeal, pointing out that killing the young boys and girls was the saddest and most unforgivable part of the entire event. The sixth slide is the modern policies. Is the modern politics. Lastly, this history still matters today. The Wooden Knee Massacre is not just a story of the past. It connects to ongoing issues of Indianapolis, sovereignty, and justice. Modern scholarship debates how Native peoples can assert their sovereignty and how the U.S. government continues to fall short in respecting their rights, but studying sources like this, we see the roots of these struggles and the long history of indigenous resistance and survival. In conclusion, the testimonies of Turing Walk and American Horse remind us that history is not abstract. It is personal, painful, and deeply human. By listening, by listening to their voices, we confront the violence of U.S. expansion and honor the memory of those who suffered at Wounded Knee. That's all. Thank you.